Welcome to Oulton Park for the 2019 Fun Cup Championship season finale. With 3 teams still in with a chance of winning the title, it really could go down to the wire. Get your calculators out.
The season is almost over, but one race is yet to be won. The race for the title. Victories at Brands Hatch and Anglesey and 2 further podium finishes have put JPR Uvio at the top of the tree. 377 points scored for the 2017 and 18 champions, but their advantage is a slender 10-point lead.
What would be nice is for us to not have any mechanical problems today, drive really well, win the championship, and that'd be great.
I mean, this is such an important race for us. We're going to go out there punching as hard as we can punch.
We want to make our families proud.
Yeah.
To defend their crown, 2 Rent Dominoes need to win the race, with Uvio 3rd or lower. Or if both teams finish out of the top 2, they'll need to finish 6 places ahead of Uvio in the race. It's not going to be easy, but they're relishing the challenge.
As always, Oulton Park last round, it's going to be a ding-dong, isn't it? We want it to rain. It's not looking like it's going to do, so let's just get on with it.
You can't really think of another series that is this close. You know, every year it's this close. Almost every race it's this close. You try and think of a race that was boring, and there isn't one really. So no, it's mega, and hopefully it'll come down to a sprint in the last stint again. We've had a good few ones of them, and should be good fun.
For Truman's, it's an outside chance. Firstly, they have to win the race or finish 2nd with bonus points for fastest lap. But they're also relying on Uvio finishing no higher than 21st and 2 Rent no higher than 17th. So do they have a plan?
I think there is a tactic for the first 3 hours and whatever, until you see where you are at the end, I think, as much as anything else. But I mean, it's racing. You're just going to go as fast as you can all the time. And that's all you do.
It's the consistency that's done it for us this year. Our worst finish was an 11th place. We've had the car's been super reliable, and we've just avoided the mistakes.
So things are starting to get busy in the pit lane ahead of the race. Let's grab a word with race director Paul Rose. Paul, sorry to interrupt you with your chat with Chris. Just a couple of thoughts ahead of this final race. A tight title battle, as always. What are your thoughts about this tight end to the season?
Well, I mean, we always take it to the last round, and it's so close again. It's really good racing here, and Oulton always seems to generate fantastic results. It really does. So yeah, we've got 2 or 3 cars up for the championship, and I have no idea which one's going to win, really.
It's been such a topsy-turvy season, hasn't it? 5 different winners from the first 5 races. Fun Cup is just so competitive.
Yeah, I mean, it's so close. The controls on the cars that we put on there to keep everybody having the same component, steering, suspension, it just makes for very close racing. And the level of drivers that we have now in the championship, these are guys who are really serious about it. They also want a lot of fun, as you've probably seen in the paddock here today, but they're very, very competitive.
And you've just announced the calendar for next year. Just talk to us about some of the races confirmed.
Yeah, we've got a really good calendar for next year. We've decided to put on an extra race next year. The drivers want that, so that's what we're doing. We're going to Oulton Park. We haven't been there for about 10 years, so it'll be nice to go back. We've got 2 races over there. Donington's back on. Of course, Oulton will start the season and we'll also end the season at Oulton, so we're looking forward to that.
As ever, the grid is drawn by lot, and it's JPR Axiometrics who've taken pole for the final race of the year. Greensall Motorsport will join them on the front row of the grid. If Motorsport and Truman's make up the second row of the grid, with Team Kennedy and JPR GT Radial on row 3. The fourth row features Team Greenheath and Team 7 Fun Bikes, while Team 7 263 and Team Viking complete the top 10. The championship leaders have only drawn 15th on the grid, but they're still ahead of their closest rivals. Rules state that as winners of the previous race, 2 Rent Dominoes are put to the very back of the grid. Buckle up, everybody, because it's another Fun Cup Championship that's about to go down to the wire. The final round here at Oulton Park gets underway, and JPR Axiometrics, the green car of Chris Double, leads the charge on the way into Old Hall Corner. But coming up the inside of him, the F Motorsport car from third on the grid of Andrew Dunn, and there's contact further back and around into a spin. The green Agua Caliente car off the road as well. The Track Life, Team 7 Hawthorns, and also the PT Motorsport car as they come charging down through Cascades for the first time in the race. And look at that, the number 1 car of Chris Hart has already, I reckon, got 8 cars behind him. He's got alongside him though, trying to go past him on the grass here. Alan Brown on the Team 7 249 car. Heart in mouth moment, but Chris survives, and look who he's ended up behind. His championship rival Farkini in the UVO car. Chris started dead last, 23rd. Farkini started 15th, and Farkini locks up on the way up the inside of Andy Bittnell, the Dispatchway.com car, on the way into the Shellhalls hairpin. Brave move, and it was a bit tight, but he got through. So there's 1 car in between them now as they charge their way through the field on this opening lap of the race. Chris Hart now comes on the attack on the way into the Fulston chicane down the inside, and he gets through as well. Tags himself onto the back of the UVO car, which he knows he's got to beat today. So the leader is Andrew Dunn for If Motorsport. Chris Double for Axiometrics is second. A good start for Truman's in third place, with Colin Kingsnorth on off the road for the GT Radial and Team Kennedy cars on the way through Hislop's and Knickerbrook, and that means that the red PLR Motorsport car is one of the cars that's going to gain a position there, with Ben Pitch on board, back on board with Chris Hart, following the JPR UVO car as they make their way past now the 263 Team 7 cars. They climb up through Clay Hill. That's John Saunders, which started 9th on the grid, dropping back, and the UVO car up the inside of another, the Greenheath car, and he's going to be followed through here at Druids by Chris Hart. They both get through, but the UVO car makes a bit of an escape on the run down towards Lodge for the first time in the race. There's the pole-sitting car then of Chris Double. That team, one of the winners this year. They won their maiden victory in the Fun Cup as a team. That was at Zandvoort, so they are looking for another victory here. They're getting very close to winning at Oulton Park earlier in the season. Going a bit slowly there, the 99 Alpha Racing car. That's overtaken by UVO on the way into Old Hall Corner and getting a bit ragged on the exit to that turn at the start of lap number 2 is Chris Hart in the number 1 2 Red Dominoes car, and there's a move for the number 97 GT Radial car. Scott Jeffs up the inside of the red PLR car. So back on board then with Chris Hart as they make their way through this extremely quick left-hander at Island Bend. Hold on to it here, be brave, be brave, be brave, and then brake late as you dare on the way into the Shellhalls hairpin. Look at that! Around the outside of 2 cars, but he's got wide and he's alongside the Viking car, which is not going to let him through, so onto the curbs he goes. But Chris Hart did get past the UVO car. And incredibly, that means that Chris Hart has gone from 23rd to 10th in just a lap and a quarter. Here are the leaders then. If Motorsport, then it is the Axiometrics car, the Truman's car, 4th place for the blue and white Greensall Motorsport car, which started 2nd on the grid. And here then come the key championship protagonists, and you got the Kennedy car driven by Rob Croydon going side by side with the Viking car, just about fending off Mark Home in the yellow machine. And that means that Mark now comes under pressure as they make their way through at Knickerbrook and start to climb Clay Hill here. You've got to get an absolutely mint exit from here because you're uphill for a long run and you're flat out for a long run until you get to Druids as well. You're on board with Farkini in 11th place as he tries to follow through. Now Chris Hart, who's going to go for it on the way into Druids, and up the inside of the Viking car he goes. Brave stuff. You don't see that many overtakes at Druids, but Chris is on an absolute mission here. There in the foreground is the white GT Radial car, and that is now going alongside the Greensall Motorsport car to go 4th. Here is the Viking yellow 110 car still fending off through Lodge Corner at UVO, so you've still got 1 car in between the 2 championship contenders. There, of course, is another championship contender, Truman. Trumans. They're in third place, but they need to win or finish second in this and hope the other two have a bad race. And now we got Farkini wrestling at the wheel. Bit of contact between himself and Mark Hobigoons. Wide onto the grass coming out of Oulton Corner. Slips and slides his way back onto the circuit, but loses several positions. And Chris Hart now gets another one down the inside of Rob Croydon at the Team Kennedy car. He's absolutely flying. He's onto the tail now of the 195 Team 7 Fun Bikes car. So that puts two Rent Dominoes up to 8th place, make it 7th. He's got another one. He's got past Chris Bridle on the way into Island Bend, and he's going to carry momentum and have another go around the outside at Shell Oil's hairpin, this time on the PLR car, and he closes the gap on the exit to gain another one up to 6th place now. There's the 263 car of Team 7. John Saunders has slipped towards the back of the field, but still going, and we've got the top 3 over the hill. There is indeed the 97 GT Radial car in 4th place, and about to join them in the top 5, Chris Hart. He's got another one. He's got 3 or 4 cars on this lap already. So up the inside into the Islops chicane of the 125 Greentor Motorsport car, as down the escape road goes the DispatchBay.com car. Now here's a replay of the start of the race. First of all, look at the red, white and green car up the inside for If Motorsport to get the lead of the race. And watch the dark green Agua Caliente car as a coming together with Nigel Greensall in the white Track Life car. The other two separately go off as well. There's damage to the left rear corner of PT Motorsports, and off on the road as well was the silver Sherrodise car. Yeah, they were trying to avoid the spinning 171 car and hit each other, so quite substantial bodywork damage to them. And look at the FNS car there, which absolutely made the most of that and got past everybody. Well, do you get the feeling that two Rent Dominoes and Chris Hart are trying to win this race? I think so, because they've gone from 23rd to 5th now in the first, 5 minutes of this 4-hour race, i.e. not hanging around. On board with Farkini. Championship leader, let's not forget, but there are now 3 cars in between himself and the team second in the championship. So they're 5th and 9th respectively. Uvio onto the tail now, though, of Team 7 Fun Bikes as onto the grass. Look, goes the PLR racing car of Ben Pitch. That's going to cost him at least half a dozen places. It will also gain a place up to 8th then for Uvio. Well, all in all, it's been a pretty low-key start to the race here at Oulton Park. What's going to come for the rest of this 4-hour race?
Well, because Rob Croydon in the Kennedy car and
It's been an incredible race so far. We've only had a few laps of this 4-hour encounter. Here are the leaders then, If Motorsport, and coming under fire on the way to Old Hall Corner from the car which started on pole position. So Chris Double there having a go at the inside of Andrew Dunn, and he's still alongside him as they make their way down through Denton's and through into the lead of the race. Brave stuff that. Around the outside goes Chris Double, and then joining them in the top 3 you've got the 2 Rent Dominoes car of Chris Hart, second in the championship, just a few points behind the championship leaders, and they've come from the back of the field to 3rd place now. And do you know what? Chris Hart is showing no signs of easing up here as he wrestles the car on the way through the left-hander at Island Bend, flat out towards the hairpin and around the outside of 2 cars. He's done this before. It almost worked. It did get him ahead of the championship leaders. He got 1 place that time. He's got them both this time, I think. Absolutely mega move there from 3rd to 1st. For Chris Hart and 2 Rent Dominoes. You're right on board with him on the way to Falstons, and coming back on it though is Chris Double in the Axiometrics car, who leaps over the curbs and puts the 267 car back in front. So fantastic dice going on here. They go over Hilltop with the Axiometrics car, the 2 Rent Dominoes car and the If Motorsport car all locked together. Uvio going side by side just behind for 4th place with Trumans, and into the lead of the race goes Chris Hart. He's gone from last to 1st in the opening stint of the race. Absolutely brilliant to the If Motorsport car. Andrew Dunn follows him through. So too the GT Radial car on board with Uvio, and side by side some contact going up Clay Hill. He's almost on the grass then was Farkini. The championship leader knows if he can stay here on this line, he'll have the better line going into the right-hander at Druids, and that is what he does. So take a breath. They're back on it again already. It's 2 Rent Dominoes that lead, If Motorsport in 2nd. Further back, you're on board now with another of the onboard camera cars. This is Will Chappell for Concord Motorsport, and he carries tremendous speed coming out of Druids as the 98 Track Life car that was slightly delayed by the Team Kennedy car. Up ahead, you got the Greensall Motorsport car of Ryan Lewis. That's Rob Croydon coming back up the inside of the way to Lodge Corner. Back ahead of Will Chappell with the onboard camera, and now wheel to wheel with the Ryan Lewis and the Greensall Motorsport car as the Uvio machine of Farkini up the inside of GT Radial to go 3rd. The top 6 absolutely tied together. There's the 249 car of Alan Brown, who had a slight off on the opening lap of the race, going wide just in front of him and onto the grass, and then making contact as he rejoins his Alex McLeod, and then he goes across the bows of the 251 Team 7 car, goes halfway up the barriers, and that's a big impact. The other 249 car goes into the pit lane straight away. They're serving a drive-through penalty, it seems, for something separate. Is the PLR racing car. Damage to the left rear suspension of Alan Brown's car, and although he's going to try and get going again, there's huge damage, look, to the back of Alex McLeod's car. He's furious with himself. Poor old Ed Worthington there, completely wiped out as a result of that contact. So that could be a safety car. Here, though, continuing to race for now at least, are Farkini and Andrew Dunn. This is for second place. He swings back to the inside line on the way into the Hislop chicane, and he should nose in front now. He does. So there you go, the top 2 of the championship, or the top 2 in the race now. So there is the stricken 251 car of Team 7 Hawthorns and Ed Worthington up at Deer Leap. And still fuming is Alex McLeod, who walks away from the Royal Motorsport cars. A safety car is deployed. Looking at the skies, rain is on its way to Oulton Park pretty shortly. The team's getting ready for the first round of mandatory pit stops. We only had 3 laps behind the safety car, thanks to the excellent work of the marshals and recovery team. There's the Team 7 Hawthorns car, and there's the Royal Motorsports car being taken back. We also had a brief safety car period for the 171 Agua Caliente car, which broke down out on circuits. That one's in the garage now. A real shame after what's been a strong season for Rob Perry and Matt Hogg. 2 Red Dominoes, Uvio and GT Radial the top 3. 4th place Axiometrics, 5th place going through at Old Hall Corner, the Concord car, the Concord Motorsport blue and white machine, both ahead of Andrew Dunn in the green and white If Motorsport car, and he might lose another place to Rob Croydon in the black and multicoloured striped Team Kennedy car if he's not careful, on the way into the left-hander at Cascades. So 2 groups battling away here, the top 3 just having a little bit of a break from the rest of the field now, but trying to catch them up now thanks to this safety car bunching them all together is the very rapid Will Chappell, who's only in his 2nd Fun Cup race, getting very close to the tail end of the pole-sitting car there of Axiometrics. We've got into the pits then for their first stop, dispatchbay.com and FNS as well. Steve Walton handing over to Greg Evans. You're going to have Riley Phillips getting in for Andy Bicknell in the pink dispatchbay.com car. There's some repair work to be done to the Alpha car there, number 99, with a change of front splits before it goes back out. Top 3 come through then, 4th, 5th, 6th all absolutely together, and a bit too together, because onto the grass with 2 wheels goes Will Chappell. He's going to lose a place to the track life car of Nigel Greensall, who set the fastest lap of the race now here at Oulton Park. On board, here's the replay as they went together. There wasn't room for both of them. 2 wheels on the grass, lots of momentum, and Nigel Greensall up to 5th place. And down in the pits, James Adadakis has managed to catch up with Paul Rivette from Raw Motorsports.
Alex was having a fantastic race up until then. It's just a shame, because I think it's just probably one of those things out there, and from what we can see, and very unfortunate. But you know, the Raw Motorsport guys, they're working very hard on it, as you can see in the background now, and I'm sure we'll get back out again before the end of the race, and if nothing else, just for a test session, shake the car down and see how it goes, get some laps in and just have a bit of fun. So that's what we're here for at the end of the day. So yeah, we'll see what happens.
Well, it suddenly started raining quite heavily now here at Oulton Park. All the cars already on the treaded GT tyres, but nonetheless it's going to be pretty tricky out there for them. Some of the teams have already made their mandatory pit stops, some have still to come in this first of 5 10-minute pit windows. You're on board with Concord Motorsport, they've been in, so have FNS, and that's the Greenheath car on the outside of both of them, the 14 car. Newcomers to Fun Cup Racing, Team Greenheath, Gary Bate and Simon Smith, as Concord get the better of them at the moment. We can see how heavy the rain is coming down, just in front of the 195 Fun Bikes car as well. These 4 cars, once it all settles down and everybody's pitted, are going to be somewhere around the fringe of the top 10, I think. So all going pretty well in the race so far. And this looks like Chris Hart about to peel, yes, into the pit lane. So the end of his stint, a terrific stint, which saw him go from absolutely last to absolutely first. So Uvio get ahead for now, but they've got to do their pit stop pretty shortly as well, before the pit window ends. And Chris already getting ready to dive out of the car. It's going to be fueled this time around. There won't necessarily fuel on every pit stop. Henry Dawes will take over. There's no fuel going into the Axiometrics car though. And they weren't far behind Two Red Dominoes. They should have a quicker stop. Viking have had a quicker stop. They've got out in front of Two Red Dominoes, and there's the Axiometrics car. So a couple of positions lost. He got out just in front of If Motorsport. So I think they must have refueled as well. But that will come back to them at the second round of pit stops, where they won't have to refuel necessarily, and the others will. You won't be able to go 2 stints without refueling. But for now, at least, both Viking and Axiometrics ahead of Two Red Dominoes, and they could be battling for the lead of the race once UVO make their stop. A little bit of a twitch there under braking on the way to Cascades, as Henry Dawes, with no time to acclimatise, he has to get used to driving in these conditions straight away. There's Chris Hart after an absolutely mega first stint. Meanwhile, good news, the Team 7 Hawthorns car has been repaired, it's back out on track, and we can hear from one of the drivers, Rod Barrett.
What a bit of an incident earlier. Just talk to us about what happened.
Well, tell you the truth, I don't really know, but I think it involved 3 cars. Unfortunately, it's just one of those racing incidents. I don't think anyone was particularly to blame. But yeah, it's a shame. We went down 20 laps, so it probably hurt in the pocket more than it does elsewhere.
It's been a real close championship this year, hasn't it? Once again, Fun Cup coming down to the final race to decide who our champion's going to be. Really, it's such an exciting championship to watch, and I'm sure to be a part of as well.
Oh, it is. I mean, I must admit, out of all the different championships I've been in, this one is living up to its name, the Fun Cup. I mean, it's just fantastic. Atmosphere in the pit lane and amongst all the other competitors, you couldn't ask for better. And now, if you're a novice driver, you come into this, I tell you what, do 2 or 3 years in Fun Cup, there's nothing out there you couldn't challenge.
You ride once again with Concord Motorsport. Andrew Clarkson now behind the wheel of the car, onto the tail of the Fun Bikes car, but losing a place on the way through Lodge, because that was a good move through the apex from Greg Evans for FNS. The head of the group then is John King in the black and red Fun Bikes car, just behind number 14, Greenheath. Simon Smith driving, make this a 4-way tussle. FNS down the inside into Old Hall Corner. The Concord's going to follow it through, and 2 places lost for John King. Go a bit wide on the exit. Oh dear, we've got more dramas for the 171 Agua Caliente car, which has only just got back out. Meanwhile, here comes the race leader in for their first pit stop. The championship leaders in. Are they going to refuel? No, it doesn't look like it, so this will be a quick stop. Parchini gets out, Fabio Randaccio takes his place. And where are the others in the lead group? Here they are. You've got now Chris Hart going for it at the inside of the Team Viking car of Nick Nunn. He gets the place on the way into Lodge, but up ahead you've still got the Axiometrics car. They're only just coming to Deer Leap though, and so it should be that UVO are going to maintain, actually I think grow their advantage at the head of the field with the last of the pit stops there. So UVO lead, Axiometrics are second, third place for Two Red Dominoes, and fourth position for Team Viking. It's the Fun Cup Championship decider. The rain has now passed, but the circuit is still pretty damp at the moment. You're on board then with the second place car. Chris Hart back in now. This is the third stint of the race, and he's behind Farkini. These are the two that carved their way through the field in the first portion of the race. They're first and second in the championship, first and second in the race. Third for Axiometrics. The green car is driven by Chris Weatherall now. Fourth is Marcus Clutton for DispatchBay.com. They've worked their way nicely back up through the order. Fifth, just passing through Shot, is the If Motorsport car. Andrew Dunn has taken back over from Annie McKeever, and there in fifth place is the number 104 Team Kennedy car. The 61 PT Motorsport car is a lap down, and there with a late piece of braking is Neil Plimmer sliding his way up the inside there of the Team Viking car of Mark Home, and that was a lovely move. And right behind the pair of them you've got the Team Truman's car as we go for a change of lead here on the way into Cascades. Chris Hart is at it again, ahead of the championship leader, and back into first place in the DispatchBay.com car, arrives in third. He's found a way past Marcus Clutton, so Chris Weatherall suddenly down to fourth place and just a little bit twitchy at the moment, losing ground. Here's a replay of that move then, and this was pretty late, wasn't it, from a couple of lengths back for Chris Hart. But good clean driving between these two. They're friends off the road, and they're very close but fair rivals on it. So Farkini down to second place, but he's still on course for the championship title. They're then going well in fifth place. The If Motorsport squad, a very experienced team, but relatively new to Fun Cup. They're having a really good run here. There's the GT radial car. Martin Gibson is now on board. Scott Jeffs did the first part of the race. The second part was done by Ellis Hadley, and then Martin is onto the tail of the FNS car of Steve Walton. We're getting ready for another round of pit stops. So Andy Bicknell there, getting ready to get back into the dispatchbay.com car for what will be his second and final stint. There is the Team 7 car, the 195 machine of Chris and Ed Bridle, and also John King, who's had his first stint in the race. They're in 10th place. They're in 11th place, having started on the front row of the grid, Greensall Motorsport, but Ryan Lewis and Jim Tubby have fought their way back, having dropped to the midfield at one point. There with the fastest lap of the race is Nigel Greensall, who actually owns Greensall Motorsport. He's chasing his own car down at the moment because he's paired up with David Godding for the track life this weekend. Right, there are the two leaders. Two Red Dominoes are 10 points behind Uvio. At the moment, they are outscoring them by 5. It's 70 points for a win, 65 for second, but they're still 5 points adrift. They need Uvio to finish out of the top 2, realistically. They're back out on circuits is the patched-up Raw Motorsports car. And there we've got the Viking car. I slipped back another place, look, behind the Truman's machine of Colin Kingsnorth. So third in the championship, Team Truman's, race winners at Croft, their maiden victory in the Fun Cup. Back into Cascades go the top 2. Wrestling at the wheel here is Barkini, gets out of shape. Ooh, that was a heart-in-mouth moment. Do not lose the car. There's a long way to go in the race. Second place is still good enough for the championship title, and it would be Farchini's third championship title, the team's third title. His teammates Fabio Randaccio only joined the team last season. They had lots of bad luck last year, but it would be Fabio's first title as a driver in the Fun Cup. There's Chris Weatherall, still fourth for Axiometrics, but falling away now from the dispatchbay.com car. And look at this, we got a wheel-to-wheel tussle for 5th place here, and that's Neil Plimmer in the red PLR racing car carrying the momentum all the way around the outside. And the team now, having had that drive-through penalty and an off in the first portion of the race, are back into the top 5. And we can now hear from James, who's down in the pits with Matt Hogg.
Talk to us about what's happened in your race. You've been in and out of the pits all race, it seems.
Yeah, a bit of an unfortunate luck to start with, but the second time, this time, all my own fault. Nobody else's, just ran out of talent. Yeah, that was quite a bit of water and too much right foot. That's what happened.
Well, the safety car is back out, and I'm afraid to say it's because we've lost If Motorsport at Druids. Look at the left of the picture there, and the red, white and green car into the barriers. So Andrew Dunn out of the race for the time being. The safety car has bunched them all up, and the pit window is now open, which means they're all going to come in at the same time, and everybody is ready for them. Drivers, teams alike. This is about to be absolute carnage. It's one of the narrowest pit lanes in the UK as well. So it is 2 Red Dominoes from Uvio, the top 2 of the championship. Dispatchbay in 3rd, 4th the green Axiometrics car, 5th the red PLR car, in 6th place Concord, 7th is Team Kennedy, 8th Team Viking, 9th the other championship contenders, Team Truman's the purple car, as Chris Hart then leads what will probably be the entire field into the pits at the same time. So a race between the crews now, who can make a real difference here to what the outcome of this race is. Fuel is going on board though for Uvio, and likewise for 2 Red Dominoes, so they're both taking fuel on in this 3rd stop. The Greenheath car comes in, flashes past the camera. Everybody else makes their way in. So Henry Dawes drops into the car, ready for his second stint. Fabio Randaccio is taking over for Uvio and is released, and it looked like a pretty good stop for them. Uvio have got ahead of them, look, down the pit lane. So have Dispatchbay, so have Team Viking, still being strapped in. Axiometrics, PLR all being released. They're going to go past as well, the green and red cars respectively. Any more places lost? Yes. 1, 2, 3, 4 more places lost. From the lead of the race, they're barely going to be in the top 10. Well, there's the If Motorsport car back into the garages. They'll see if they can try and get the car back out. We're back racing, so Uvio lead. Then it's dispatchbay.com. Dispatchbay, who were winners here at Oulton Park for round 2 of the championship, but won here back in 2017 as well, so got a great record here. And it's Axiometrics next up, and Henry Dawes going on the attack, trying to fight his way back up the order, having lost all those places during the pit stop. Getting alongside there, Team Truman's, who are 3rd in the championship. So Colin Kingsnorth and Richard Webb still very much in this fight. We've been concentrating on the 2 most likely to win it, 2 Red Dominoes and Uvio, but Team Truman's finished 1st or 2nd, and they could take the championship as well here, which would be their first ever title. But a better run coming out of Old Hall Corner here for the Scot, and Henry Dawes squeezes through at Denton's, makes sure of the position under braking on the way into Cascades, The recovery drive is well and truly underway. Let's hear now, though, from the race leaders.
Race is going well so far, up to first place. Things all going your way.
Long way to go. We've still got another 2 sessions after this one. So there's been so many safety cars that it's bunching up. It could be a bum fight right at the end and you could end up nowhere, so you don't know.
Here's the second place battle then, riding the curbs, Andy Bicknell for DispatchBay.com. They've come from 19th on the grid, Axiometrics just behind in third place. Then the yellow Team Viking car with Mark Holm back on board. Race winner with Nick Nunn in the Zandvoort weekend, taking victory in the second race of that doubleheader weekend over in Holland. On board with Henry Dawes, then his next target, the GT radial car of Scott Jeffs, downshifted to second through his lops, getting a bit late under braking there, slipped and slid his way almost into the back of the GT radial car, but somehow keeps the momentum through the middle of the corner. He loses out a bit though on the exit to Knickerbrook. There is the number 14 Greenheath car. They're going well in 12th place, the former Caterham racers. I mean, their second event together, Gary Bates and Simon Smith, in testing conditions today for the drivers. Through Druids then, back on board with Henry Dawes, and now he gets a really good run there through the first part of Druids, and on the exit he carries the speed. He's got the momentum, he's eyeing up the inside line, that's covered, so he goes left, he goes for the outside. But that's going to be very brave on a 90-degree right-angled corner. Up ahead, the side-by-side overtaken as well as Team Kennedy get ahead of PLR, and he's going to do it around the outside on the curbs for the 2 Red Dominoes car. Oh, not quite. On the way out through Deerleaf, he just loses a bit of momentum, and he's on the outside line for Old Hall Corner coming up. So back onto the tail of the GT radial car he will go. He'll tuck back into position. Seesawing at the wheel a bit here with the understeer that he's got through what's a very quick right-hander, and now drawing back alongside the GT radial car. He glances across, he sort of shrugs and says, what's all that about? But he's gained the place. And we can hear now from Andrew Dunn.
Try to catch the guys in front. I was edging back at them and I've smashed a curb up the top and lost the steering. So ran wide and then got beached, but it's done a bit of damage, so we're just going to call it a day. We've been a lot closer again this weekend, so we are improving. It's just I made a mistake and it's cost us dearly, so just get ready and go again.
Well, we're coming towards the end of the third stint of the race now. The sunshine trying to break through, but it's still damp on track. Back on board with Henry Dawes, who has made good progress from the tail end of the top 10. He's got the car back into 4th place now. The DispatchBay.com car, one of the machines that slipped back behind him. So to the GT radial car, and he's onto the tail now of the Axiometrics machine of Chris Dovell. There's the race-leading JPR Uvio car. Team Kennedy are up to 2nd place, and hold your breath, trying to go around the outside at Old Hall Corner is Henry Dawes. This is brave again, all over the curbs he goes. Wet curbs, slippy curbs, but he finds traction and he gets the job done. Here's a replay. This is ultra brave. It's a really quick corner, this. There ain't a lot of grip today, especially on the curbs, but Henry Dawes knows this place well. The place where he got his first ever win in the Fun Cup. He loves the track, and that was a beautiful move. So there they go, 2nd, 3rd and 4th now on the way through Island Bend. The FNS car just behind them in 5th place, having a really good run as well. Good to see them back on form. And there's only one thing on Henry Dawes' mind, the inside line. He's got ahead of Rob Croydon, and he's done a good job here in his stint of recovering the team back up now to 2nd place, albeit they trail by around about 12 seconds JPR Uvio. We're into the final round of pit stops in this final round of the Fun Cup Championship. The race and the title still wide open here as Team Viking and Mark Holm loses the back end of the car at Old Hall Corner, spins around a full 360, but beautifully controlled, and he'll be back on his merry way in no time. But the chances of a podium are probably now gone. So too for Team Kennedy, and they were 2nd at one point. They dropped to the tail end of the top 10 in the final hour of the race, and off the road for Team Truman's 3rd in the championship. And that's Richard Webb recovering. He's back on track, but they're a lap down now on the race leaders. And speaking of the devil, here they are. Riley Phillips with the onboard camera, 2nd for DispatchBay.com, leading 2 Red Dominoes and Chris Hart. And that's 3rd place now then for JPR Uvio. And if 2 Red Dominoes win and Uvio are 3rd, 2 Red Dominoes will win on countback of best results. They'll tie for the championship. Off the road has gone the 251 Team 7 Hawthorns car, but that one recovers. And we've also got off, and it looks like out of the race, I'm afraid, Concord Motorsport. Here's FNS and PLR Racing, both battling for a top 6 finish here. FNS have had a couple of 4th places this year, one here at Oulton Park, and just in front of them, a spin for the Axiometrics car. So they'll both gain a place there. Axiometrics rejoins, and here's Greenheath going wheel to wheel with the Track Life. That's Nigel Greensall going around the outside and gaining a position there. Now he still has the fastest lap of the race. That's important because there are 2 bonus points up for the fastest lap of the race, and neither of the championship contenders look likely to get it as Riley Phillips brings the DispatchBay.com car in, because the track was dry at the start of the race when that lap happened, and it's not looking like it's going to dry up between now and the end of the race. One driver in, one driver out, swiftly done by the Track Life squad. Riley Phillips replaced by Marcus Clutton, who is an incredibly quick driver. They'll fancy their chances of a race victory here. No need for a refuel on that final pit stop. So back out goes Marcus, and he'll get straight down to business here at Oulton Park. On the throttle he goes, rejoins on the pit lane exit. Right, we're going to get a replay now on board with Concord Motorsport. The car has ground to a halt. This might be the reason why. Just a couple of laps ago, they ran very wide coming out of Shell Oils, and then a big thud over a big dip in the ground there, and that might have caused some damage to the car because it didn't limp on for much longer before it pulled off the circuit at Cascades. Right, final pit stop then for Axiometrics, looking for a podium finish here. Chris Wetherall is going to take the final stint. Chris Double and Christian Rose, his 2 teammates. So back out go the Zandvoort winners. You can see in the background there, Fabio Randaccio getting ready for the Uvio car pretty soon. Marcus Clutton, though, up to speed, the first of the leaders to make his pit stop, and he's got clear track ahead of him as he goes straight on the attack. Disc brakes glowing as he makes his way through Knickerbrook. On board with Chris Hart on the way through the right-hander at Lodge Corner. Is he going to pit on this lap, the race leader? Yes, he is. So for the final time, it's a pit stop for the 2 Red Dominoes team. There's the Uvio car, 1st and 3rd before the pit stops, but with DispatchBay.com in between them, and that's going to stay out for at least another lap. So in it comes. Henry Dawes is going to take over for the final stint. No refueling, so it'll be a quick stop this. They've got their fueling out of the way. Chris Hart has done another mighty job, so too his teammate Henry Dawes. They've had to fight back from the lower end of the order a couple of times in this race. Great work by the pit crew, and out they go to rejoin the race. The pits team have done all they can now. Chris Hart has done all he can. Thumbs up, great job, great effort. Is it going to be enough for the championship title? They're going to rejoin just behind DispatchBay.com. So Marcus Clutton could effectively get the lead of the race here. Uvio could still get the lead of the race, but he's being held up here by traffic. He's on the tail of the Alpha Racing car. He can't find a way through at Cascades. This is going to cost him. Henry Dawes has only just got into the car. Marcus has been in for a lap or so already. But here we go, past the back marker. The gap is closing. Henry Dawes sees an opportunity here. He knows really he's got to try and win this race and hope that DispatchBay.com finish 2nd. There is Fabio Randaccio getting ready for the Uvio car. Where are they going to filter into this battle? Will it be 1st, 2nd or 3rd? On board with Henry Dawes coming out of Shell Oils now, down towards the Falston chicane. There's another back marker up ahead. I think it's the Agricalianti car. And again, Marcus Clutton a bit unlucky here. He's not going to get past the traffic until the exit to the corner, so he gets delayed. And suddenly, look, you're on his tail with the onboard camera. This could be for the lead of the race. This could be for the championship title. Henry Dawes is lining up the move, but he's on the outside line as they both hit the brakes as late as they dare on the way to the chicane, and they go too deep. They go onto the grass. Contact between them and a spin. No, a half spin for 2 Red Dominoes. Oh, and he's stalled the engine. He's losing time. He's losing valuable seconds. And JPL Uvio might be able to get ahead of him now after all this. He's certainly lost ground to DispatchBay.com. And it might all be over. The green flag waves, he's recovered. Here's a replay on board with Marcus Clutton. Neither were going to give way there. He got his nose in front, Henry Dawes, but he's on the outside line. It's so greasy. They both outbrake themselves onto very wet grass. A ride over the grass for Marcus Clutton. Here's what it looked like from the outside. Neither of them wanted to give up the corner, understandably so. A little clip on the back of the DispatchBay.com car then from Henry. And then he just lost the back end as he rejoined, a sort of half spin, but it was getting the engine fired back up which cost him all the time. There's the viewpoint from Henry Dawes. and that was ultra close racing, and I'm afraid one of them was always going to come off worst, and in this case it was Two Red Dominoes. So a real big opportunity now for Uvio. No fuel for them either. Great stop by the crew, and Fabio Randaccia about to rejoin. Now where is he going to be? Likely behind DispatchBay.com, but possibly ahead of their championship rivals Two Red Dominoes. Yes, he's done it, he's got ahead. It's going to be second place. DispatchBay.com will lead. They're already down at Cascade. Second place for Uvio and third for Two Red Dominoes. Uvio already lead the championship, and now they are outscoring their rivals by 5 points. Watching on thoughtfully, Riley Phillips and Andy Bicknell. Their teammate Marcus Clutton leads for DispatchBay.com. We're in the closing laps now, and we've still got battles going on. This is for 10th place. Team Truman's in the 170 car, third in the championship. Under increasing pressure here from the Team 7 Fun Bikes car of Chris and Ed Bridle and John King, and through goes the 195 car. The team has had a pretty torrid day. 2 of their 3 cars taken out in that incident at Deer Leap very early in the race, but at least they're going to get one decent top 10 finish, it seems. Now after 3 very quick laps, Henry Dawes has got himself back onto the tail of guess who? That's right, JPR Uvio. Been locked horns, these two, haven't they, all the way through this 4-hour race. So this is for second place in the race. Second place still would not be good enough to win the championship for Two Rent Dominoes if Uvio finish in third place. The problem for Two Rent is that the race leaders are way up the road, and the 4th place car of Viking is quite a long way back as well. It's not going to stop him trying though, and Henry Dawes pulls off another move. Fabio Randaccia probably didn't want to fight that one too hard. He'll have done the maths, he'll have worked out that third place is still okay. But that now means their advantage at the top of the championship table is cut to just 5 points. So Team Viking, the yellow 110 car, that's in 4th place. Nick Nunn aboard now. They were championship contenders going into the final round of the 2018 season. A bad start to this year though, but they're going well now as we see Greg Evans for FNS launch one up the inside at Lodge Corner. Slippery, but he does a good job to control it under braking to get ahead of Chris Wetherall, and that changed for 5th place. So on the pit wall down at JPR Uvio, all fingers and toes are crossed. There are still late battles to be resolved here though. This is for 7th place. GT Radial being caught by PLR Racing. Neil Plimmer absolutely flying, trying to come back from a stop-go penalty and an early race drive-through penalty as well, that team. And there is the 221 DispatchBay.com car leading the way. He's 25 seconds clear of this man, Henry Dawes, who wrestles the Two Red Dominoes car over the curbs at Fulsterns and loses the place. Look at this, on the last lap of the race, even though he doesn't need to go past to win the championship, Fabio Randaccia gets through. I suspect it was more to do with the fact that Henry Dawes was well out of shape there, rather than he intended necessarily to go through. But the Uvio car finds himself ahead. These two, almost since the very first laps of the race, have been absolutely together in this one. But it is DispatchBay.com, Riley Phillips, Andy Bicknell, and behind the wheel to take the checkered flag, Marcus Clutton. That team is going to be the winners of the final round of the 2019 Fun Cup Championship. The Track Live team celebrate a terrific win for DispatchBay.com. Who's going to finish second though, and who is going to wrap up the championship? Will it be Uvio or will it be Two Red Dominoes? They're still at it here. We've got about 2 corners to go. Lodge, Deer Leap, that's it, but they're still going side by side. Oh, don't take each other out, the championship is at stake. Henry Dawes has a look around the outside on the way to Lodge Corner. Uvio back at the inside, Fabio Randaccia runs wide, the car squirms around as they climb Deer Leap for the final time in the race, over the brow, absolutely side by side they come, the flag is out by 1/10 of a second. Two Red Dominoes take second place, but the championship goes to JPR Uvio. There's Farchini, Fabio Randaccia in the car. That's 3, he says, 3 championship titles in 4 years. And there's Scott Rowson, who engineers the car and has been every bit as instrumental in the championship success as the 2 drivers. Wow, what a race.
Boys, many congratulations. A second race victory of the season. What a way to finish the year, Andy.
No, it's been a fab race, really good race, and the team did a great job, Track Life, and our sister car 98, fastest lap of the day, which is good, and team of the day, so, and a win for our car, so yeah, fantastic day, really pleased.
Riley, you're racing alongside a couple of really experienced drivers. What have you learned from sort of working with these guys?
I've learned so much from people like Marcus and Harry, and actually Andy as well. Even so over
even Andy.
Yeah. Over the year, it's been quite the learning curve, and I think it's just being even more ready for next year.
Marcus, you kept us entertained right until the end there, that final stint. You had a little coming together with 2 Ren towards the end. You came out on top, and I guess it shows don't mess with Marcus Klassen.
Well, yeah, maybe, yeah. He got the run on me, to be fair, and I was on the wet line, he was on the dry line. I could only brake as late as him, but it was too late for me, unfortunately. I went straight over the grass, he clipped me and had a little spin. But we're both fine about it, and it was relatively fair. It was just a racing incident, and Henry understands that, and it was good racing.
Confirmation of the final standings, with JPR Uvio claiming the title by just 5 points from 2 Rent Dominoes. Truman's best season takes them to 3rd, with Viking, Axiometrics and GT Radial all in the top 6.
Quite an interesting final stint that for you, wasn't it? Talk to us about that battle that you had with Terren.
Well, to be fair, I was trying really, really hard not to overtake Henry, because it was only going to end in tears. But I think he was suffering from a bad car, so he kept having moments, and there were several times I was like, I can't not pass him here. But I was so worried about lobbing it off.
Joaquin, what was it like for you watching on the sidelines? Your heart must have truly been in your mouth.
Yeah, I mean, what a race. It was nose to tail from halfway through the first stint. Just amazing. But so happy to do it with this fella. Who came in. We had a torrid year last year, and I've told him ever since he came in that it would be his fault if we didn't win it, so now it's well done, mate. Well done.
What does it feel like to be a Fun Cup champion?
Oh, it's brilliant. I've been lucky over the years, raced a lot of different championships with a lot of different cars, and it's safe to say Fun Cup's the most competitive championship I've been in. Chris and Henry were belting all year. I mean, they've been so fast. And so consistent as well, and to come down to the wire with like 5 points between us, it's just testament to those boys, and what a great race they've given us all year long.
I always enjoy racing with them. It's brilliant, it's hard and it's fair, and we can have a hug afterwards. So yeah, sorry boys, you did great, but not quite great enough.
So that concludes another fantastic Fun Cup season. What a way to end the year here at Oulton. Many congratulations to JPR Uvio, champions once again in the Fun Cup.